is up, you guys? We're gonna do a very interesting one today. So buckle in. It's gonna be relatively simple and super, I think the hardest part is gonna be wrapping these, but this is a recipe I'm pretty excited about because I haven't had a pasty since I was in England, which I think was like, I don't even know at this point. I think it was like 8 years ago, maybe 7 years ago, actually. But still, a long freaking time since I've been to England, and this is one of my favorite treats that I had there. Yeah, and I don't think I've ever had a vegan one. So I guess it might have even been longer as I'm thinking about that. The wheels are turning and I'm going, hey, wait a second. No, I wouldn't have had one. It must have been like a decade ago. Good God, I have no idea. Anyways, it's been a long time. And I saw somebody else sharing that they were having a Greg's pasty that's vegan now. I guess they have a couple of vegan kinds now, which is crazy, and that blows my mind because I don't think they had vegan kinds when I was in England. In any case, I digress. What you're gonna need for this recipe is some Phyllo pastry. So I got some here. I was gonna film it earlier today, but I forgot to completely defrost this, but we're good to go now. So and you're gonna need some vegetables. So some mushrooms, garlic, always, carrots, onions, more onions, potatoes. It seemed like I forgot the word for potatoes, but I swear I didn't. Some lentils and some broth. I have both miso paste and just the Better Than Bouillon vegetable broth. Yeah, this looks suspiciously like the non-vegan one, but it is the vegan one, I promise. And some water, and of course some spices. But yeah, so the first thing you want to do to get started is turn a pot on, throw some olive oil in, just go nuts with it. There we go. Obviously we don't want to have that on like super high, so let's just turn that down to medium low. And yeah, the first thing we'll do is chop up some of these vegetables. By the way, I'm working sort of like weird today because I cut my thumb pretty badly yesterday when I was making breakfast. It's like cut through the top all the way down the middle. So yes, this new knife is very sharp. Not a great start to the day. First thing, let's get some onions and carrots chopped. They're gonna be the thing that you wanna put in first, so cut the ends off. And be very careful with your very sharp knife. And you wanna cut these like pretty uniformly. Small-ish, medium-sized cubes, because they're not getting blended or anything like that. So, and I'm making enough for like a double version of like, so like there's gonna be a lot basically. Ooh, that is crazy hot, so I turned it all the way down to low. There you go. It'll get nice and really aromatic in here. Sorry, I just keep on looking down at my feet because there's this tiny kitten roaming around my house. I have a new child, I guess. His name is Jackson, and he's a terror, but he's quite cute. And obviously you just cut off the hideous parts of these, so the ends where they look gross, like they're still from the ground. And watch your hands the whole time you're chopping. Don't be like me. I looked away for like 1 second when I was chopping yesterday and almost needed stitches. I actually can't believe they didn't stitch me, to be honest. It was a pretty bad experience all around. All right. Nothing fancy, just quickly do this. You don't have to peel them if you don't want. You can wash them instead. Entirely up to you. But if you're trying to go for that no waste, just wash them. should be fine. Just cut these smaller ones. These bigger pieces, I definitely cut them in a couple of different ways so that they're not these huge chunking pieces. All right, just throw them in there. So you just want to saute these for a little bit, so a couple minutes until they become a little bit more soft. So you can add just a little bit of salt and pepper. Try not to go overboard because we are going to add the bouillon and the miso later. But, you know, spice as you wish. I'm going to throw this Italian spice blend in there because we want some sort of herbs going on. Yes, that's done for. All right. So while we're waiting for those to saute off a little bit more, our next thing is we're gonna put in the mushrooms and the garlic. So I guess actually let me cut the garlic first. Makes more sense. Take up a little bit less room. So yeah, again, I'll write down what it is for like one recipe in the description, but I think I always say this anyways about garlic, like literally go crazy with it. It's but yeah, 2 would be a good amount for one recipe. But I'm making tons because then I can freeze these and have them later when I'm feeling uninspired to cook or just too tired. You never realize how much you use your thumbs until you cut one up and have to like be gentle. And when it's starting to like cook off like that a little bit, you'll see that like the bottoms of the pot will brown a little bit, but that's going to be the flavor. So you want to mix it around and keep that. It's not burnt or anything. It's your flavor. I mean, it could get burnt if you don't mix it. All right, I'm going to toss this garlic in. Yeah, mushrooms are going to shrink, so don't worry too much about cutting them too small. You can cut them in 4 pieces, or in quarters rather. They'll shrink. This is also like, I mean, other than literally wrapping the pasties after, this is going to be like a pretty simple recipe. It's like, you don't have to be really great at chopping or even that fantastic at cooking, and these are going to taste amazing. And you want this to reduce, and as I'm sure everybody knows, or if you don't, that's okay too. Mushrooms are going to release their juices in here, so it's going to get liquidy, so don't worry about putting any more liquid in or any liquid in yet. I would just put them on low so you're not burning anything and put a lid on it. Should reduce in like 5-ish minutes. So just hang out and again, clean up some stuff between. Get that compost. All right, we're almost there. Lots of little steps, but so it's reducing down now. Got a bit of liquid flowing, so I can just probably take the lid off. Leave that heat on, and next up, potatoes. I've washed these already, and we don't need to peel them because of the kind of potatoes they are. If for some reason you're using russet, don't use those, but if you are, that's all you got, then do peel them for sure, but I wouldn't use those. I'd cut these ones into kind of smaller cubes. Keep it simple, but you know, I guess like hash brown size. All right, so we're just gonna throw our potatoes right in there. Okay, mix those around quickly. We're gonna take some lentils, they're just dried ones. Put those in there. We put about 2 or 3 cups of water. Mix all that around. I'm gonna turn this up to medium-high heat. Add our bouillon. So we'll add about a teaspoon of each of these. Should be good, not too salty. Okay, there we go. All right. But yeah, as I said, I doubled the recipe. So you could use just 2 teaspoons of whatever bouillon you have. Or you could do what I'm doing and add 1 of each of a miso and a bouillon. And always try to make it as messy as possible, obviously. There we go. And mix that up. Jackson, leave him alone. He wants to play with the dog all of the time. If I can catch him before I finish filming this video, I'll show you guys my new baby, my new kitty cat. He's like this big. All right, so essentially what you want to do now is let this reduce over like the next half an hour. So medium-high heat, bring it up to a boil, and then turn it down so there's just a light rolling boil until basically it all reduces down. And then the next step. All right, so we're back, and we've got all of the potatoes and the carrots and the lentils. They're all cooked up and cooked down, and we have no more liquid left, so you've just got like this stew, basically. I put a glove on this hand because we're going to be putting our hands in water and touching things, and well, I have a Band-Aid. So, the next step, you want to unroll this pastry paper. I was trying to remember what it's called, Phyllo. And you want to cut like pretty thick pieces. Probably not as thick as this whole one, so maybe, there we go. I think that's the middle. You want to roll out the whole thing. Oh, this is delicate. Never used these in my life. So, lessons together. All right. So you want it to be pretty thick. Oh, it looks like this one needs to be, there we go. Oh my goodness, it's breaking apart. I think this one needs to go this way too. Yeah, there we go. Wow. It's okay, because there's going to be so many pieces. So probably like pretty thick, like this thick. Yeah. And then what we need to do, we want to make a couple of them. So I would take like a saucer, a small plate, place it on the edge. I feel like this isn't rolled out properly. Hang on a second, let me fix this. Yeah, there we go. It's tucked under a little bit. I guess do your best to be a little bit more put together than me. But these are really, they break apart quite easily. But yeah, so you just place it on top there. Oh, there's Jackson. Come here. This is Jackson. He's a pretty cool guy, living a pretty cool life. Okay, buddy, there you go. Don't eat the dog's food, please. keeps on trying to eat the dog's food, even though like each kibble is as big as one of his eyes. So I guess you want to be sure to have this on the whole cutting board. And you just want to cut like around. Maybe I should use a different knife. There we go. It's pretty thick, so to press kind of hard and without, you know, ruining it. Just gorgeous. So I think now you can take like a few pieces. I don't think you need the whole one. You just like a few. And you take a bit of water, get the ends, because you want them to stick together when you fold them over. I'm making a right mess of this. But, you know, it's gonna taste good either way. Then you're gonna want to take like a good amount, so probably more than that. Be conservative at first because you still got to fold it closed. Like that much. That seems right. And fold it over. This one's going to be kind of maybe a smaller funny shape because of it sort of rips down the middle. But that's okay. Oh my gosh, this is so hideous. Fine. You should also have a cooking sheet ready to go. And also my stove is preheating. All right, so when you have your hideous pasty, it shouldn't look as hideous as mine because you're learning from my mistakes, right? I want to put them on there and take your plant milk and brush it on top. Actually, I'll brush it on top after I do a couple. Just for the sake of filming. Don't look at the really hideous one, but these ones look pretty good. I think they look authentic enough. I don't have a pastry brush, so I'm just gonna take my hands and get the whole outside of these dredged in this, because we want this to bake and they want to be nice and golden and delicious. You don't want them to burn either, so. And my oven is, yeah, preheating to, I don't think I said what it's preheating to. It's preheating to 400. So just make sure there's no not flaked edges there, or not basted or whatever. Okay, so we'll put them inside the oven for about, I think, 10 to 15 minutes, but obviously we'll just check on them every 5 minutes and turn them around. I think there's like a hot spot in the very back of my oven, so I'll want to turn it. But like everybody has a weird hot spot in their oven, but yeah. All right, now set that timer and clean up and, you know, add whatever you like to it. Yeah, so set your timer and clean up and I'm gonna make some really small ones, but I'll make those off camera. And then, yeah, because I wanna basically make them and then freeze them, and then I'll have them ready for meals for later, which is a super huge bonus. Oh my God, you guys. Okay, so they took about 40 minutes to bake, but they look amazing. They're gigantic, so probably only can eat one for a meal, unless you're like super hungry and you just, I don't know, have like the never-ending stomach. I do most of the time, but these are huge. But yeah, I still have tons of filling left. It didn't go as planned with the Phyllo pastry. Those are really hard to cut, so I wasted a lot of it. So I got to come up with a better plan for next time. But in any case, these turned out freaking amazing. So vegan pasties. Maybe I'll try the cheese and potato one another time. But yeah, these were, I mean, like, other than pretty time consuming and a lot of little steps, super freaking easy. I guarantee you won't wanna, I guarantee that you definitely wanna try these, and if you've never heard of a pasty before, get it. This is like the whitest version of a dumpling. It's like stew inside of freaking pastry. But yeah, let me see if I can pick one up without hurting myself. Oh yeah, there we go. Flaky as fuck. Yeah, anyways, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification if you want to be notified the next time my videos come out. Peace.
If you love me, then you'd be here tonight.